Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm fanning myself. It's not a hot flash either. I don't know. I'm just, I've, I have no words. I mean, I have words, but things make me angry lately. Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome back to the Fireside Chat, where I am fired up and not in a good way, unfortunately. Hi, Jan. Hi, Miriam. Hi, Karen. So let me get out my folders and my notes. Um, yeah, I know. I was keeping track too, Carrie. You were did a good job. I was trying to keep track too to see minute wise, and I felt like we had more time, but this was kind of like less, right? I don't know. Whatever. All right, so we're all popping in, still saying hi. Let me start off with just that this is the first scene. Get my drink. Let me show you something that makes me happy. This makes me happy. Look at my cute little glass. This is just lemonade. I think I may have shown it to you before. It has little bows on it. Isn't that cute? It's lemonade. Mm. Okay. So let me start off with I don't know how I missed it. And in the press packets have been messy lately from Hallmark, especially with the two series, The Way Home and One Calls a Heart. Sometimes they send all the stuff, sometimes they don't. So I was, I don't know who wrote this, and I was so excited. Tell me who wrote this because I know somebody's here. Nikki, Lillian, somebody caught it. Because I missed it in the beginning, and then I uh, couldn't find it in the press packet. So anyway, I was loving how everything was connected. And I'll get into that more tomorrow. But I was loving how Lucas and Nathan actually shared a scene together. They haven't shared a scene together all season. And they just I was like, yay. And I loved how everybody was being incorporated. And then it just fell apart. So the part right away we get to see is Lucas and Edie, and he's being sued. And McGinty, we already had said, we knew was going to wind up, everything was going to go away and be okay, and everything was going to be resolved because he, was going to be the bad guy. Now, what I didn't understand was after her 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 being Edie, land was saved. We don't see a scene with them. We don't see her again. It kind of was like the young kiddos solved the problem, and it all became about Nathan and Lee. And where was the governor? Where was Edie? Why wasn't she in on that? Like that whole thing. Henry was involved. I was loving all that, but you were also missing other characters that were key to it. So it just fell apart, and it made no sense to me. And then please someone explain to me, unless they had other commitments, why you would have an entire town function, which I loved the whole idea behind it. And why wouldn't Edie be there, who's living in the hotel, okay, temporarily, remember? Who was living in the hotel, who's not for, and where was the governor? Why were they not in that scene? I could even see Billy and the other kids in the background. There was nothing of them. Like, that makes no sense to me. It makes zippo sense to me. One of the things I did like, though, is I like when they had them in the meadow and they were in their horses. The two guys over here, McGinty here, sort of like, coming to the OK Corral standoff kind of thing on their horses. That was funny. And McGinty had some funny lines. I thought they were, that tickled me a little bit. But I don't know. There's not much more to say than other than that's what I have to say. Let's see. Makes zero sense. Thank you. McGinty remarks about Lucas having a criminal past. He was just throwing things out because he does. He's supposed to have a criminal past. Remember what they said? He was linked up with Edie. That's what he was just pulling punches, pushing buttons kind of thing. I'm fed up with the way that Lucas is never included. It's weird. It is just so weird. I mean, it's just a weird thing. And do you think anybody's asking those hard questions during an interview? No. The people that get granted interviews, no, it's just weird. I know. Let's see what Dee says. I know. It's like they leave Edie and Lucas out of the town fun. And here's in my head, I was thinking it makes sense. I get it why they're going to do that. We got time still. We're going to flash over and we're going to see Lucas and Edie at her homestead. And he's delivering the news to her that everything is okay, even though I think she should have known anyway. No, we get nothing. It's the next day. I mean, it's just... yeah, it's not a dream, Martha. It's a nightmare. Yes. And who did the first community dinner? I know, Susan. Who did? I think that might be Lucas Bouchard, right? Yeah, I know. I agree with the raspberry, Roxanne. I just don't like the way they have marginalized Lucas all season. It was there, what was there, but wasn't there. Lucas created the dinners. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah. I was more bothered that Lucas wasn't around when LJ got lost. Every other man was running around the show. We didn't see Joseph and Michael running around either, but I'm not bothered by that. He could have been off in his office, whatever. I'm okay with that. He could have not been in town. It was the next day. He could have been over at Edie's or wherever, went back to Capital City. I don't know, although he hasn't been back to Capital City much. But the part that got me was like he wasn't in the community dinner. They had just settled the whole thing with McGinty, and Edie wasn't even there. It's her land. And like nobody said anything to her, like nobody addressed it. Did they cut it out? Whoever edited it then just did a poor job. Whatever. So there's really not a whole lot to say. Can we have the Way Home writers? Yeah, Martha, right? They are good writers, aren't they? They're very good writers. Nikki, we need to find another series for Chris to star in. When Calls the Heart pretty much stinks this year. Sorry, just a bit mad. It's okay, Nikki. You're allowed to voice your opinion. Lillian, this episode was written by Lindsay and Jay Gregory. Okay, don't know who Jay is. Well, Lindsay wrote it. Okay. Well, you mean Jay or Joy? Joy, you're Joy. I know who Joy is. It just clicked in my head afterwards. So they're the two oh, good Lord. They're the two showrunners. Well, they did a fantastic job in the first few minutes. I was excited. Everybody was included in, like, there were a couple storylines going on. We were seeing everybody. I mean, it was great. And then it just fell apart. How do you get to be a showrunner? How do you get to be a showrunner? And you can't write a solid episode and it just falls apart. Sorry. A lot has happened to me with Hallmark in the past few days. Just like, not that I feel like talking a lot about it, but I am not in a good place with it. And so I have decided I will not be, I'm just going to be, I mean, if anybody asks me certain questions, I like sort of ignore them sometime. I will not. I was in love with Hallmark. I am not in love with Hallmark. The things that go on behind the scenes are not good. But anyway, let's move on for a minute and I know you kept looking for Lucas. There's not much more to talk about. Let's move on to this little side note, because all of you that are here are very much Chris McNally fans. I like around, I think it was about 9:25. I checked up the trending numbers. And of course, Chris McNally was trending. He had 1.5K at that time, and Lucas Bouchard was trending with 1.4. I didn't look to see the final numbers, which are great. And if you have them, put them up for a post on the Chris McNally page. That would be great. And even on the When Calls the Heart page if you want it. Yes, Nikki, I saw someone else told me that. Yep, the two showrunners, and it fell apart. Something happened. Let's see. Let's see this. And then I want to tell you some news that has to do with Chris. That's where I was getting at, that you are, Chris McNally fans. I wanted to share something with you. It's interesting to have reading comments from people that say Lucas wants to be isolated, and I'm not seeing where that has occurred, as all he has wanted is to be part of the town. Who says that? Where have you seen that Lucas wants to be isolated, Robin? I'm curious about that, because that must be on social media that you're talking about, right? And I haven't really seen that. I'd be interested in knowing who says that. Yes. Susan, why do you have to go through so much to get an interview with Suspenders Unbuttoned, had him and spoke about everything? I'll address that one for you. Hold on. Hold the phone. Kathleen, does Lucas even know that the issue with McGinty has been taken care of? Bill, Henry, and Lee. He wasn't there. I know, Kathy. That's exactly what I was saying. What about she's got to come up with a loan, and she's trying to figure out what to do, she being Edie, and she could lose her family's land and a place for her to live. And we're just, we're just supposed to assume that happened, because we got to right away cut away from that storyline. We couldn't even have them in the scene, because now we got to build up the Jack scene with his diabetes, All right, Chelsea, I agree. They should have Lucas involved with little Jack, since he is his buddy. That is their bad writing. No, Chelsea. Nope. I disagree strongly with that. Here's why. He's not. It's not going to happen. Doesn't make sense. And it would be weird to me. That storyline is over. They've moved away from it. And that's like a little tidbit. I can't even focus on that, because that's, to me, don't take this the wrong way. I don't mean you're silly, but to me, that's like that's down here. What's more pressing is being in the present storyline. If we're going to accept what you're giving us, and we are in the present storyline, okay, he didn't go out and search for, we didn't see everybody searching. I could get on that. He could have been out of town at that point, didn't know about it, was in the moment. That's okay. What I can't understand is how we've got a serious thing. We saw a standoff with the Mountie and Lucas, the governor, and McGinty, who is outright doing things. I mean, outright trespassing and like loan sharking and threatening children. Okay. They figure that all out, yet they don't have them present in that scene. What would it have been for the governor to be there as well as Edie? And if maybe they want to keep the governor out of it, even though he's being sued directly, if they wanted to keep him out for political reasons, even though he's being sued directly, he would want to be there. Let's say he's out. Why isn't Edie there? And why don't we have a scene of them talking about it? It's just so bizarre. Instead, everybody's having a grand old time at the party, and the person being sued and the person who was going to lose everything were not present. It just falls. It's like a rookie mistake. If I could figure it out, so could they. Let's see. On the social media sites. Okay. Yes. Recap of weekly episodes. Who recaps the weekly episodes? People saying he wants to be isolated. Obviously, where? You know what? That's when I'm in my classroom. Okay, I'm in my classroom and we're watching this together, and someone says a character trait for is for Lucas Bouchard, or Governor Bouchard, is he likes to be private, and then they'd say he wants to be isolated from the rest of the town, and I would say, really? Well, show me where he said that or he's done something to show that. You can't dig that up. That is not what they're telling us. I'm sorry. That's not what's happening. So when people say that stuff, that's just things and opinions that they have a fantasy in their brain. Okay. Off point. Did you see that? Yes, I do know. Yes, I posted it. I put it up all over the place because I love it, Nikki. Yes. Chicken Sisters. It picks up. It's in that time slot. It picks up right after When Calls the Heart season finale. It's outstanding. The acting is outstanding. The writing is outstanding. It's a bit risque for regular Hallmark, but it's good. And I did weekly recaps of it when it first premiered on Hallmark Plus. They're all still there. I'm not sure if I want to do it again. I'm not sure. Had some of the people on. Matthew James Dowden is in it, and he plays a delicious character. Oh my God. It's very good. All right. Thank you for that off point, Nikki. I am not surprised now hearing that Lindsay is involved. I didn't find she keeps in mind the previous seasons of Lucas when she writes she is too much into N&E. It's not nice. Sadly, he hasn't been buddy for over 2 years. Yes, Cindy. So I'm that part's not even that. I don't like them giving Jack diabetes. That's not for us to discuss tonight. I'm going to discuss that tomorrow. Chris said on the interview from Susbutts that he and Edie are kind of out of the crowd so that they can get to know more about each other and become friends. Well, then we would be required to see that happening. So that just proves what I just said. If that were the case, then tonight we should have seen that they chose not to attend the party and saw him at her. What would it take? 1 minute scene, and see the two of them talking about how she has her land back, or them sharing a minute. So, and no, we don't see that. That's just, yes, whatever. They need to do a better job of that. I can figure out it's bad writing, and I'm not a writer or producer. Yes, Sandy. I could have written the season better, and I'm not even a writer. Yes, you're all agreeing with me. Maybe it's a sign for Hallmark to see if it would fly in the When Calls the Heart time slot. No, I don't think so. That's not the When Calls the Heart really their full-time slot. They usually are done a little bit later, but no, I think they're just pulling out all the stops, trying to see what works and that kind of, I don't know. The townspeople really do not give any difference to Lucas as governor or as a member of the community. That's how they write it, Mary. Bill, Henry, Nathan, and Lee were all involved in settling the thing with McGinty, and they don't think that Lucas should have been included, or even Edie. This episode was such a big disappointment. Thank you, Margie. This is what I'm trying to say. It's weird, especially since Lucas was the one being sued and it was Edie's land that she was going to lose. I mean, they could have all been in it together. It's just weird. It's just weird. They could have done things better. But let me get back to, I'm going to let it fly. I'm going to regret this, but not. Let me see. Someone was asking about they get everyone. Listen, I don't know what kind of deal that they have, but I will say this. So there's a piece of history when all of everything went down in episode 8. I didn't even realize, because I wasn't really on social media like that, how much hatred there was out there. And I saw that the McGarry, the Suspenders Unbuttoned crew, they had like their Instagram account, and they decided to part ways with the main page, and they started something called the Valley Voice page because they thought it was kind of like neutral ground. And anyway, I had the girls come on because I thought it would be great to like hear what they had to say and like build a bridge kind of thing. That's out there if anybody wants to see it. Now, I have no idea. I have no answer as to why they have interviewed. I think they interviewed more people this year. They did a lot last year, but I think they interviewed more people this year than they did the official page. And if not, it was totally equal, which is great for whatever reason. And I know when I talk about this, I'm not leaving the studio. When I talk about this every now and then, I'll get somebody that'll pop on and say, oh, that's because you ripped the show apart and you say negative things, which that is not true. I'm always fair and honest. I don't know, but I'm denied or ignored. I asked for Allie the actress who plays Allie to come on. I asked for the four girls, I call them, and three were on, and Allie's people. Well, Allie is Jada's people, and I had permission from Hallmark. I got the publicist sent a document and said yes, and everybody's got it all together. It was hard to coordinate, and her people not only didn't respond. I kept asking because I didn't want it to be like there was such a big email. I didn't want it to be like lost in the shuffle and hurt someone's feelings. So I even made a phone call. No response. Nothing. I don't care how busy you are. That's just rude to me. Just rude people. I'm sorry. It's Hallmark, okay? And if we're not all here for you, then you got no show. But whatever. I'm just in a mood, let me tell you. So people were all excited. They were gobbling up that he was on Suspenders Unbuttoned. Gobble it up, but also go find out why we're in the situation that we're in with these storylines. Yeah, whatever. They are interviewing people that I don't even know. Nikki? Oh, they're interviewing all the main people. They're interviewing the directors. They got everybody. They're doing it all. They have everyone that's involved in the show. They did it last year. They did it last year too. I guess they're living their best life. All right. I wanted to talk to you about safe distance because I had said a few minutes ago that you're all Chris McNally fans, and some of them were asking about that movie Safe Distance. So I contacted the director and the writer, and they are excited for their new movie, but they don't have a release date for it. They didn't get into the details why, so they're not doing any interviewing or promoting of it. And I am to check back later in the year. I don't know how late that is, but I wanted to let you know that there is no information out there for Safe Distance. That's directly from the director and the writer. That's as much as I know about that one. And if anybody is interested in seeing the interview, because I don't know if y'all saw it, it's old. It's like one of my first times I ever did like a live. If you're interested in seeing when I had Sarah and Julie on, and one of the other people, because their group is big, even though you only see Sarah and Julie, they have a whole big group. And when they first got started, they hadn't started their podcast yet. As a matter of fact, right after that, they said they wanted to start one. I think maybe a month later they did. If you want to see that interview, I took it and I linked it under a post that's in the Chris McNally thing. This is frustrating. This sounds like a click. The McGarry's that is. It is. Oh, it is a click. For whatever reason, a mistake that I made somewhere along the line. And I'm just being frank. I don't have any ties. I have to be fearful of being censored. I'm censored is what it is. Fearful of what I'm going to say, because then it's a backlash against you where you can't have any be on or that kind of thing. I don't care actually anymore. So I'll be parting ways soon anyway, because my love affair with Hallmark is gone. What was I even saying? I forgot. I don't know what it is. I could send an email and ask, and I don't even get a no. I'll get a nothing. So, and that comes from, you have to go through, whoever the publicist is. And if it is a yes, they tell you right away, oh, yes, go right ahead and do it. If it's a no, they don't even respond. They don't even say no. So I asked a couple of weeks ago because I knew we were winding down. And I even said, we make any accommodations for any time frame if that was the issue. So, all right. I would love to see that interview, but it's great that he's being supported by McGarry fans. Shay. Okay. Yeah. That's not being supported by McGarry fans. You watch those interviews. That's not what that is. That's actually McNally fans supporting them. That's what that is. You got it backwards. Yeah, no. They're interviewing everyone. They're very much champions for the show. which is fine. Be a champion for the show. What's Cindy saying? I was surprised that he was on them again so soon. And Cindy, me too, Constance. Yeah, I know. The only thing I can think of is his schedule wasn't matching the timing of episodes for me. Oh, it has nothing to do with that. No, he doesn't even. No, nope. It has nothing to do with that at all because I always put on there. And if you remember when I had the young boy Jacob of the new character Jacob who was on for like he's a young man, I should say young boy. I didn't even do that during my regular podcast time. I did it whenever was convenient for him. And same with the girls. I wound up doing it later. I did it like later 9:30 my time. Nope, I always put in there that I would be accommodating any time that they wanted. That I always try to keep that separate if I can from my wrap ups or recaps. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Personally, I show up for you and this group, not Hallmark. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Mary. That's nice to know. Honestly, in your reviews should be applauded. Writers and producers should want the real fan viewpoint. The truth of the matter is that Arlene, here's the thing. I can't imagine I have to be a professional on a daily basis, like just because of things I do with the union, things I have to present to the board, publicly speaking on behalf of many people. I'm not dumb. I know what can be said and cannot be said. But here's the thing that annoys me. I I have, and I will any fan page that I'm an admin to, I won't allow it. We never rip apart any of the actors. Never rip apart any of the actors at all. Nothing. There's nothing to be said negative about any of them. I've never said a negative thing about any of them. Have I talked about the writing? Sure. I've talked about the writing because that comes under critique. And here's what else. I'm not the only one. There are people that rip it to shreds, and the things that they say are so like, wow, like ridiculously mean. But you know what? You're a writer. You take that under account, like that's criticism that you should get, but you shouldn't censor somebody before and punish somebody because of it. But whatever. It's like old news. It's like I'm tired of it, is what I am. I'll be honest with you. I was like, you know what? I was so tired by it Friday that I was not even going to bother to show up for this. And I was like, I'm going to finish this out because this was only a hobby for me to bring me joy. There is no joy in it anymore. None. Between people arguing, making constant negative things all over X. I'm only on X to help put a hashtag out there for a show. Between that, like I ask for somebody to come on and that's not going to happen. And then I can't even get into it. It's just like, so I'm like, I'll finish these out and I'm done. I'm like, so done. I'm reposting this, Roxanne. Please don't give up. We appreciate oh no, I'm not giving up. This is like for my mental health. Give up how? I'm not asking anymore. I'm not bothering to do it. It's just, no. Nope. I want Chris interviewed by no. Nope. I don't even care about that. So I want to say, like, really, if you wanted to be on somebody's podcast or do an interview, you would. That's just the bottom line. I find it hard to believe that some of these people have to listen to everything that Hallmark says, So there is just, you love watching and listening to me. Oh, I'm not going to not run the podcast. Kathy and I are still even going to do things, but I am kind of done with asking anybody that has anything to do with Hallmark on, because it is a game playing thing. I'm going to tell you a story. Because this is like confession time and I'm in such a mood. I need to confess to someone. I have to tell this story. I'm not going to give names. I'm just going to say this. I was contacted. I did not reach out to them. They reached out to me and asked and gave me some information so I could collectively round up fans and we could support this show and get for renewal, right? So I was like, yeah. So I do that. I round them up, and week after week after week, we do it. And it's kind of exciting. It's fun for them because it's new. They were learning. Hold on. In that email, I said, sure, not a problem. We'll do. In that email, I didn't ask for nothing. This is somebody big too. This is not somebody like, just whoever, a random person, someone in charge of all this stuff. And I felt like having it in front of me so I could quote it. Says, oh, and we'll get you some really good content as the finale approaches. Now, this is not about When Calls the Heart. That did not happen. Nothing even remotely close to that happened. The opposite did. So I'm like, I'm over here spending my time doing this, this, and this, and this for you because it is fun. But in the end, it's not, especially when people are just big users. That's all I could say about that. Margie, I stay away from the negativity and don't get on any of the fan pages on a regular basis. They have taken something that we all loved and turned it into something barely recognizable anymore. This is true. This is true. Stop watching a long time ago. Only know what happens through your podcast and your viewers' comments. You know what, Angel? There is something cool though that I found for people who want to kind of know, but don't want to watch the whole thing. If you have to contact me, remind me. There's something on YouTube that's a recap. It's this guy who does recapping of all kinds of stuff, but he recaps When Calls the Heart. It's like a little 4-minute video. You watch it and it's all broken down. It's wonderful. So if you are someone who just kind of wants to be in the know to see, they show the background, clips of the episode and everything. That might be something of interest to you. Is there a possibility that Chris McNally is leaving When Calls the Heart and they are writing him off? No. I hope not. He's the reason I watch the show at this point, and this community, of course, and you. No. Nope. I'm sorry you're getting treated so badly by Hallmark. You don't deserve it. It's an old story. It's been going on. I will tell you exactly what had happened. This is exactly what had happened. When a lot went down and I did a video about what retcon means, and I didn't even come up with it. I was not the first person to say that there was a retcon. It was somebody else, and people were all wanting to know what it was. So I did a video on a Saturday explaining what it was and what actually happened with that season and how it was a retcon. And ever since I did that video, that is when it all went downhill from there. So somehow I'm attached to all that negativity that's on X too, even though I don't participate in any of that, but whatever. Yeah. I'm sorry you're getting treated so badly okay. It seems a lot has changed at Hallmark over the last few years, but not for the better. Meant to add, thank you for what you do for all of us. Oh, sure. I know. Well, that is that. And Chris said he hopes there is a season 13 and can go back to Kansas City again. Yes, Avis, you are correct. So when I asked I know I spoke the truth. Yes. Not against any characters or anything. You know what? I have to be so careful when I say this, but this is what I want to say. I have to get this out here. People are mad about these storylines, right? You don't know why they happened because they never really told you. But I can tell you this. There is another show that came out. Actually, I'm going to tell you it. There's a show called The Way Home. And in the second season, a character was introduced, and it was like a tool to navigate and push the story forward about what happened in the past, because it's a time travel, if you're not familiar with it. And they introduced the character with a fabulous actor. His name was Chris Holden Reed. And his name is Thomas Quayle on the show. Wonderful character, great storyline. And he was supposed to die. And at the last minute, they decided to change up the storyline a little bit, and they did it perfectly. The last few minutes, they showed how he didn't die. So if you've never showed the show, I'm sorry. I'm letting all that. I'm telling you this for a reason. There's a big thing here with this. So fans fell in love and they made what is a triangle. I don't usually say that word, but they made a triangle. Okay. So, and there really isn't a triangle because this is a side character that came in for a small amount of time and they're going to wrap up the storyline, and they did. But the triangle was with two other core characters. Those two core characters are core characters, core to the story. That's not going to change. It would be like Elizabeth leaving When Calls the Heart. Okay. You know how that doesn't happen? That's not going to happen. All right. So the two core characters are there still. Anyway, my point is this. They made their name for themselves and they called themselves Tomcat. And if a Tomcat is here, you know what I'm going to say. And the Tomcat said, we're going to take a page out of another group that made sure they campaigned and they got, as they call it, the flip into their storyline. And they contacted me and some of the other admin on the Chris McNally fan page and said what they were going to do as their plan, that they contacted the people that campaigned and got the flip, and those people told them what they did and how to do it. I'm not joking. You could ask others that know about this and I was like, what? Yes. So they were on a mission. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. You love Thomas. Good. That's nice. Here's what I want to tell you, because he's a cute character. Those people are out there telling others that it was because of them and their campaigning and whoever they got on their inside, that is why their story was flipped. And then you, the very fans that are upset by the flip, support those people. So just putting that out there, just letting you know. That's the skinny of it all. It's the truth. You remember the retcon? Your explanation helped me to be able to watch this season again. Yes, triangles need to stay in geometry class. It's so funny. Do you know there's a reason a season and a lifetime that they use that in The Way Home for the triangle? They used that saying. Yes. Thank you, Roxanne, for all you do. And we appreciate you always and your breakdown of writing and storytelling, which I truly love. This is from someone who could never write a book. mm. Mm. So I will continue if I, hosting other things, but it's dwindling. My commitments are just dwindling down with Hallmark and these shows. All right. So on that note, I am going to do my recap for tomorrow on the episode, and I will see those of you that show up tomorrow. This is interesting. I'm waiting to see what happens with this podcast. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.